what we have to understand is that there are three areas that we work on in the marking department in order to have a really well-trained marking dog, or a dog that does things successfully at the field trial. We do things to work on line, I call it line training, and I'm not talking about the running mat. I'm talking about the line to the mark. We do things to work on, I'm going to put it over here, we do things to work what I call concepts, marking concepts. By the way, we're talking about an advanced marking training program, not a young dog marking training program. And we do things to work on fundamentals. And this is the one that often gets missed, because people hear the word fundamentals or basics and they go, oh, I don't need to work on that. My dog's an advanced dog. I don't need to work on those things. I only need to work on the sexy stuff now. So when I'm talking about line training, what are each one of these things? When I'm talking about line training, I'm talking about what? Anybody? The line to the mark. And what causes the dog to get off line? Which is a what? Factors. Exactly, factors. So, yes, you're talking about them. These are factors. Wind, water, terrain, cover. Sometimes I even consider like even a gun station of sorts will push a dog offline to a retrieve. Like a really close-up gun station the dog has to skim past, they will flare it. Or a flyer station that's well out in the field might potentially draw the dog a little bit offline. So it could be another gun station as well. Those are primarily what we're talking about. And we do training that specifically points a finger at these things. If we're talking about water, we're talking about cheating singles and angle exits. Right? The dog wants to avoid the water on the approach, and they want to get out of the water early when they're swimming in it. If we're talking about wind, we're talking about fighting a crosswind. If we're talking about cover, pretty straightforward. Cover will deflect a dog away or potentially will cause them to want to get out of it. And terrain, they want to square it. They want to go straight down and straight up the hill. They don't want to take the hill at an angle. Concepts. Totally different area of marking training. I don't know how many I've got here, but give me an example of a concept. Equidistant marks, like a mama papa, right? I just call them equidistant because they... A punch bird. Let me stop right there for 1 second, and I'm going to ask you for some more. These are situations where one gun station might influence the dog's behavior when they're doing another mark, or one destination might influence the dog's behavior when they're going to another destination. It could be a situation where they might be encouraged to switch or return to an old fall, or maybe abandon it altogether because they're uncomfortable with it for some reason, or there may be elements en route to that mark that prevent the dog from getting all the way to the destination. That's a punch bird, right? When you're talking about a punch bird, when we have a punch bird, there are elements that cause the dog's momentum to break down and not get all the way to the destination. So check down is another one. An inline, pardon me? Hip pocket's not so much a concept, it's a configuration. It's the way gun stations are placed relative to each other. What you're talking about more, when you have a hip pocket, you're really talking about line training. If it's this kind of a hip pocket, like let's say we have a gun station here throwing this way, and a gun station here throwing this way, and a dog has to run tight by it, what do they want to do? They want to flare it. So are we talking about destination? This is destination training, by the way. Destination. This is something that prevents the dog from getting to the destination or ending up in the wrong destination. This is something that causes the dog to get offline. Is this destination training or line training?
Line.
It's line training because it is a gun station pushing the dog offline. So it's not really a concept. Maybe it's a little bit of a gray area. Check down bird, punch bird, equidistant marks. These three are the primary ones. We could say inline triple too. This is more middle distance retrieve. Wipeout, yeah, definitely. Okay, so these are concepts. There's one destination is affecting the dog in a way that causes them to fall into a trap that prevents them from getting to another destination. Or with a punch bird, there are elements en route that are preventing the dog from getting all the way to the destination. Now let's talk about fundamentals. By the way, this is what we tend to focus on a lot at an advanced level. We're like, if we're not doing this, we are not doing anything. That's how we feel as trainers. We are just giving our dog exercise unless we're working on this. And then we have another area but like I say, a lot of people forget about it. The fundamentals. Cindy? Attitude, for sure. This is, let's say this is, what is this referring to? It's referring to state of mind and mechanics. This would be what I call the wide open equidistant triple, like we did today. Can anybody else give me some more stuff that would fall into this category? Obedience. Marking accuracy. So what kinds of things would we do for marking accuracy? Putting targets out in the field. That's white targets that the dog to run to get to the mark. What else? We could do the Y drill. Right? The Y drill teaches the dog to identify where the mark is landing precisely in the fall area. It teaches them to identify the angle of the throw. It teaches them to hunt a bird in a methodical, thoughtful fashion. Those are fundamentals. How a dog hunts a mark is fundamental. You see that dog running around all over the place to find that go bird today? Make a mental note of that and say, wow, that was a very poor hunt. My dog is not very organized. Does it mean they're a poor marker? Absolutely not. It means we haven't done enough fundamental training to maintain that skill. We get focused on this stuff and we don't do enough of this stuff, and the next thing we know, the dog can't win a field trial or get through 4 stakes or 4 series in a field trial because they ran around and hunted for 2 birds. They got there, they fought the factors. They might have not fallen into the traps that the concepts presented, but they ran all over the place looking for the bird, and so they got dropped. ABCD drill. This is about thoughtful hunts and getting the dog comfortable going tight to another gun station. This one is kind of a gray one, but to me it's very fundamental. It's a little conceptual. It's a little bit of line training, but it's at a fundamental level. It's drill-like. Pardon me?
Retired guns?
I call them walk-away. There's a way I like to do these. Walk-away retired guns. Or organized confusion drills. I'm just getting messy. Okay. I'm going to also put in here wagon wheel and fan drill. One of the fundamental skills we need to have is the ability to have a conversation on the line to get our dogs looking in the right direction and thinking the right things. They have to be comfortable with it, we have to be comfortable with it, and we have to be skilled at the mechanics of it. So my favorite one to do here is the fan drill. You can put wagon wheel if you want to, but I'll just put wagon wheel too.
Swinging,
Pardon me?
head swinging.
Oh, head swinging. That's another one. Thank you. Yes, it falls into the fundamental area, because if the dog doesn't watch the birds, is the dog marking the birds? No. No. And if the dog's not marking the birds, can we expect them to do the concepts well or the line training well? No. So I don't want to go any further into this. But as a trainer, my job is to do a number of things. One, to set up a 2-week training plan every 2 weeks that does a couple of things from here, 1 or 2 things from here, and 1 or 2 things or 3 things from here. And when I set up my next 2-week training plan, I'm going to work on a couple of different things from here, and 1 or 2 things from here that I haven't worked on, and some other things from here that I haven't worked on. And when I set up actually, let me just stop there for a minute. And when I was going through that 2 weeks of training, what I'm doing is I'm making mental notes of what I'm seeing. The dog ran around all over the place on the go bird and that mark out there. They are not marking the bird accurately. They are not hunting the bird in a thoughtful, organized fashion. So when I set up next 2-week training plan, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the Y drill. I might do some target training. I might throw some white bumpers on a soccer field for marks. I'm going to do singles. If there's a target out there to run at, Alan, the dog is not going to run at the gun. And if I do it often enough, I'm going to create the habit I want and not the habit I have.